This is Holloway Road, looking north toward Nexhead Corner, around which the studio stood for many years. And I was there at the end. The end was the 60s, of course, by which end the lease expired and my time at the studio expired with it. I continued as a photographer, freelance, and often was around the corner, more where you see now, than the studio, which is out of shot. And it was very busy, but nothing like as busy as it would become. And people recognized me, obviously remembered the wonderful studio, and continued to ask me to take portraits, family portraits, pictures, which I was glad to do. They called me Photo Man. Some called me Photo. I was the photographer and their photographer, and had been for a great many years, and I didn't want to let them down. But time had let us all down, and things were changing. I would eventually cease to be on that corner, but not before I'd met some wonderful people, not least of all one or two, three or four, who were very close to me. The last person I was to meet at that junction in the 1980s was my present wife. It sort of held out for that moment. And then it disappeared. I had already begun to do other things before the 80s, and I only filled the time as the photographer, the photo man, in those moments where I could. Certainly by the end of the 70s, I was working in film and appearing in art projects and art house films where I featured in a major role. But that didn't occupy all the time, and I was therefore able to gradually move from one to another, slowly. And by the time I was truly immersed in other matters in the 80s, the centre of the universe was no longer the centre of the universe. It changed, people forgot, sadly. And what was once was no more. The stall, seen on the left, here it is, just around the corner. Apparently was destroyed taken round the corner and chopped up. But in time another replaced it, but not at the exact same location, one facing the Nag's Head and not alongside it at the back, by which time everything had gone. But memories lingered, as only memories can. And that time between the closure of the studio and later was an easy transition. Acted as a springboard really when I was Photoman. And I'm so glad I remained in touch with people I'd known for years, for long after the closure of the studio, which did not traumatize me. I saw it as a natural evolutionary occurrence. Yet one can only hold in enormous affection the memory, as I'm sure many do. Many of my friends from long ago do, I know, Steve Howe being one, of Holloway. It was unique. I can understand why people so loved it. I'm talking about the area in the picture. The area close to Nag's Head Corner. It's facing north. And it was a delight to experience, especially at such a young age. Steve Howe, my best friend when I was at sort of school age, who went on to become a top guitarist in a major group, he always recalls Holloway with enormous affection, like no other place. He went on to live in Hampstead and many places around the world. Of course, I knew Stephen Howe, Steve as he prefers to be called, well before the studio days, but I met some wonderful people at the studio. It's where I met, well, around the corner, I met some people who would go on to become models, top models, some of them, and yes, people who worked at the studio. That's where I met them. People like Martha. And most importantly, it was around the corner from that studio, long after it had gone, that I met my wife, Sarah.